Oh, what's up? Hey guys, what's going on? It's very early. It's it's so fucking early.
In comedy time.
In comedy time. It's 10:30 in the morning and we are live in Phoenix. I slept like 3 hours. How long did you sleep?
About 3.
About 3 hours, Court? What about you?
Yeah, right in there.
Yep.
Everybody? Okay, good. So did any of you wake up and do 3 lines of cocaine this morning to alert yourself?
Close. I drank a Monster.
All right. That's like 7 lines of cocaine.
Isn't that meth? Isn't that meth?
Yes,
Yeah,
meth in a
that's
can.
what I
I
thought.
think it's
Because
worse.
everybody I ever see drinking Monsters like wearing board shorts and
I hear
flip-flops.
that a lot.
And they
Driving
have
a
like,
truck.
and they have a really weird hat on, and
Yeah.
it's just like, and you just
Right?
go, you know, he just beat his girlfriend.
It's like the Ed Hardy of beverages.
It
I
is.
feel.
It
Yeah,
is.
It totally is. This podcast is brought to you today by Monster Energy. Just kidding. There goes a
I
sponsor.
don't care. It's my vice. I'm taking it. I don't
Is it
care.
really?
Jill breaks stereotypes. That's what she's
right.
doing.
I like that. I
She
like
ain't your
that.
typical monster.
She
drinker.
doesn't conform. She doesn't drink coffee, but she had 4 monsters before she came here. She's like, no coffee.
one.
Guys, let me introduce my guest. First of all, this is Date Fails. We are at the All Things Comedy Fest in Arizona. We're in Phoenix.
Yep.
I feel weird, like I'm staring into the camera. It's weird that the camera's there and you guys are over here.
Why are you staring into the camera?
I don't know, because in case there's
She's
like,
mesmerized.
there's probably at least 5 people watching this right now. This is live.
I'm
This
gonna
is-
go. I'm gonna go 4 and a dude on Monster.
So guys, we're at the All Things Comedy Fest. This is so fun. This
it's
festival.
cool.
This is the first festival All Things Comedy has put together. It's at like 2 clubs here and a theater, and we got a podcast studio. So if you're in Phoenix, you should come by and check it out. There's like shows all day. Go to allthingscomedy.com. And let me introduce my guests. I'm so happy. First of all, I've been wanting to have this bitch right here on for so long. Like, how long have we been trying? You
A
don't,
while,
You don't
while.
live in LA, so
I know.
It's hard to get you.
Yeah.
You're a hard woman to get.
I'm hard to get.
Ungettable,
get.
guys.
Why don't you just drive to Phoenix and she'd be on your show? Wouldn't
First
be
of
that,
all-
wouldn't be that
First of
difficult.
all-
It's a long drive.
dare you.
And my car is a bike.
Oh.
So
Oh, that's right. Well, that's why your body looks like that.
I have to
Thank
tell
you.
you, I saw you on a bike the other day.
Shut
on
up.
Vine, and I was gonna honk, but I thought that would have been creepy.
please do. No one does since I turned
But
30.
but I drive a Prius, so it wouldn't have been like a
Yeah.
manly honk.
It
It would have been like a honk.
polite green honk.
No, it would have been a honk, and she would have been like, "Fuck no, I'm not looking that way."
How has no one invented some kind of device that honks your car with like different phrases?
Yeah.
Like, how is that not a thing? I always
I
think
always
that.
thought of that too.
Right? Like you hit button number 1 and it's like a polite, like, please move forward a little, or the light turned green, and then like number 2 is like, what up, bitch, or whatever,
Right. That's
right?
good. Or excuse
Or
me.
mine
do you
would be
think-
like, "Move that fucking Korean minivan.
That would be button number 7.
Like, get the fuck out of the way."
Oh wait, what was the name of your podcast again, Court?
Insensitivity training.
That makes
Yes,
sense.
Cort McCown, everyone, insensitivity training. I also have Jill Kimmel and Bryan Ricci, which you guys both have a show coming out on Comedy Central. You guys are both part of Kevin Hart, Heart of the City.
Yeah, we are.
do.
It sounds so moving, Heart of the City. Like you guys are going to tell sad, nostalgic stories.
No, it's actually Kevin Hart. He goes around to cities in the country that have big comedy scenes, and he does like a showcase of like 16 to 20 comics. Then he'll pick like 4 that he likes, and he casts you on an episode. So Brian and I, along with J Mac and Terrence Delane, were cast on the Phoenix episode, and it premieres November 3rd on Comedy Central.
dope. I'm so excited.
know,
Yay.
we're excited too.
Congrats.
I'm taller than him. I'm taller than Kevin Hart.
Oh,
which
for
I'm
the
not.
record,
He's so short.
I was the only girl, and it was Brian, J Mac, Terrence, and Kevin, and I was the tallest one at 5'6".
That's right. We're all 3. Oh God, that's right. Yeah.
That's hilarious. All right, let's get right to it. So first of all, I'm so grateful that you guys got up for this. I was supposed to do this yesterday. I like posted it everywhere. I was gonna have people coming, and then my flight got just canceled. I woke up and there was no flight for me, which was kind of good because I was hungover, so I got to sleep a few extra hours. But now these guys, they're troopers. They got up at 10 o'clock in the morning to talk about dating and sex. Are you single, Jill?
No.
You're not single
I have
anymore.
a boyfriend.
Oh my God, dude. Jill is like me. She was married for how long were you married for?
Yesterday would have been our 21-year wedding anniversary.
Well, how long have you been divorced?
A year and a half.
That's it.
Yeah.
Wow. And you've
Wow.
had 2 boyfriends already. I haven't had one in 5
I
years.
had one guy that I dated. We were not boyfriend, girlfriend. He made that very clear in the text he sent me when he told me to remove all pictures of him from my social media.
What?
We were not boyfriend, girlfriend. And all references to me being your man. That was not something we discussed.
Was he married? Was he married?
No,
Oh.
he was a
He's just
dude, and we dated for
just a
2 months, and then he
douchebag,
found
right?
someone
Yeah.
else that was jealous of me, and I had to take my pictures down of him. So you know that day was Throwback Thursday, and I posted his ass
Let me ask
on my
you something.
page.
When you girls, whenever you guys break up with a guy, and you've been with a guy, and you've posted all these dumb photos on social media of you guys being together at all these shitty events, do you ever go back and delete them so that you don't have the memory of him on your social media?
Good question.
I have done that if the guy is if the guy was such a piece of shit that looking at the
Right.
photo makes me want to murder people,
Yeah.
I take the photo.
But
off.
I mean,
You
I'm
mean
sure
in
you've
good
been.
sense.
I'm sure you've been in relationships where it wasn't that awful. But I mean,
Right.
do you still go back and take down the photo of the person?
I don't.
Right.
Well, see, I was with my ex-husband from before they had the internet, so we didn't have that problem. So we got divorced a year and a half ago, and then 5 or 6 months later, I went out with a guy for 2 months, and I mean, we were fine. We broke up friendly and nice, and I thought it was fine, and I wouldn't have taken those pictures down because it wasn't like we got in a fight or he was a jerk.
Right.
It was just he wasn't
Yeah.
that into me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I thought it was fine until he messaged me a few months later, I have a new girlfriend and she's pretty jealous, and I really care about this relationship.
You know what I would do if
It
a
was
guy sent me
right.
that message? If he was you have to take down the photos, I'd be send me $500 for each photo I want taken down.
I like the way
would.
you think.
Fuck that
No,
guy.
I just posted a picture of him on Throwback Thursday and was I cropped him out just enough so you could still tell it was him. So when
Wizard.
she was stalking my Instagram, which clearly she was doing, she could still see it. I'm you know what? I get it. I've been the jealous girl. I have definitely have been. But let me make that decision. You know what? Unfollow me. I could see her saying, block her. I don't want you having your pictures. But you cannot contact me and be
Hell no.
please remove.
How old are these people?
Well, not that old. He wasn't quite 30.
How old is he? He was in his 20s?
He just turned 29 last year.
Wow, you really date old dudes.
Yeah.
Wait, so I mean, this is the thing. I'm kind of like the girl version of a fuckboy in the sense that I
No,
don't
you're
post.
Not. No, you're not.
Well, I'm not, but I don't post photos of guys I'm dating on my social media because, one, I'm almost never exclusively dating someone, so I don't want
Oh.
anyone
There you
else.
go.
to
Well,
get
there you
mad.
go. Yeah,
not by my choice, by their choice. They never want that. But also because then when it ends, then it's you have to, go through the whole do I keep these up? And then everyone asks you what happened, and
See,
so I just
think
keep
I'm
it
the
private.
opposite because I never think it's going to end. If I'm posting a picture with you, it's because I'm I'm in it.
All
you know
in.
what I mean? Yeah, I'm always
You're
all in.
such an
I
optimist.
am. I
I
would never
always think
date
it's-
someone that I was maybe not.
The minute I
Never.
start dating him, I know it's soon to be over.
Really?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the thing?
The minute we're together, I'm this won't last long.
Dude,
once
I'm
we
like
once
that.
we have sex, I go. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time before
They
this
fuck
is
you and
done.
leave you. They always fuck you and leave you, those guys. Dude, I can't. I
I
can't.
never dated one of those guys.
I don't know. I mean, what about you? I don't think anything will last anymore. Am I just jaded? I assume everything will end in a year.
That sucks. That's a terrible feeling to have. But
It
I think
is.
it's just because you haven't met somebody who made you feel differently.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, because you're a catch, definitely. I mean, obviously
Thank
you're very lovely and attractive, but
Thanks.
you are a catch. You've got a lot going for you. You're ambitious. You're out there. That is intimidating to guys. I mean, I am a catch inside, on the outside not that much, but
Shut
inside
up.
for sure. But it's still intimidating. Guys, you have to be a strong man to be with a strong woman. You really do. And guys are kind of I'm not sure if I'm
I
ready for that.
just want one that will definitely take care of me at this point.
See, it's
I
nice,
mean,
right?
I'm done with being. I got to be in charge.
Yeah.
I pay when we go out. I'm if you reach for your wallet, I'm in love.
Yeah, I know.
That's hilarious.
Go for the wallet, bitch. Go for the
Really?
wallet.
Why not?
Yeah,
Let
I have.
them do
Listen,
it. Who
I went out
cares?
with a girl. I went out with a girl about a month ago, and she was very young. And she I don't approach young girls. Young girls have recently been approaching me more than in my past.
Same.
And so this girl, we went to dinner,
It's the
and I
grin.
went to pay for dinner, and she goes, no, I got this. And I was like, no, I got this dinner. She goes, well, I have the next one. And
Very
I was like,
nice.
all right, we're having a second date.
Yeah, and we're going for lobster.
And we're going to Mastro's. And we're going to
Right.
Mastro's.
That's right.
That's funny. I only reach for my wallet when it's coffee. That's the only time.
Well, but it's not
Selective.
that you're. It's
That's
not
good.
that you're cheap or whatever. It's that, you're a single person on a budget and you're living and you're trying to make, so you're probably not just like, I'm going to spend $100 on dinner.
Yeah, I mean, and also I think whoever asks you, like whoever does the asking out should pay, in my opinion.
Right.
But once it gets past like where you've hung out a few times,
Right.
then I'll like
Yeah.
go back and forth. But at the beginning, if they're the one being like, can I take you to dinner? I'm not going to pay.
There's nothing creepier than someone like getting weird about money. I would rather pay for 100 strangers that I've never met for alcohol that I didn't drink than have one person question me over $1. Like that gets, I will break up with you immediately. If I see that you're a cheap tipper or you do this weird like, are the sides extra? I'm out. I'm out.
What if they pull out a
Sides
coupon?
extra? Have you ever had someone say that?
Yeah, like one guy I went out. I
Run
was
for
like,
the fucking door.
I wasn't dating him, but he was like part of a little group we're with, and I was like, ew, I couldn't. Ugh, ugh. No.
How do you feel
Sides
about
extra.
that?
If you're doing price check, that's a bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can I
right.
get a price check on this?
Have you ever had someone use like a coupon? Like I had a guy pull out a coupon on a date.
You got to do it on the low. You got to conspire with the waiter
Right?
at the table. That's
Brian
gotta
was
be
a waiter for a
private
long
deal.
time. Have you ever had anyone conspire with you when they're on a date?
On a date, yeah, and I would help him out. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's in my best interest. Plus, I just genuinely want to help the guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I'm like, I kind of got him handcuffed because if you don't tip me, I'm about to rat you out about
Right.
this coupon. You know
What do
I'm
they
saying?
do? Like pull you aside and go like, "Hey man, I'm on a date, but I'm on a budget. You think you could like hook us up with
You know what? It wasn't as much a coupon. It was like, I don't know if this card's gonna go through. I'm
Oh,
with this
yeah.
girl. Can you just run on the side? If it don't work out, let me just give you another one. Let me just figure out this
That's-
payment. You know what I mean? Like trying to work out payment. I'm like, it's
No
be embarrassing.
way.
Yeah. I don't know why you would go on a date with a suspect.
I think sometimes you go
account.
thinking it's going to be fine, and then you
Yeah.
realize, like, okay, the sodas were each $3. Like, you start adding it up in your head. You're like, oh my god, I might
Yeah, right.
not have enough.
Oh yeah, sure.
I've definitely been
like
there.
a Chappelle date. Yeah.
The server comes like, "Do you want dessert?" And the girl starts thinking, and the guy's like, "How do I get out? How do I run away from this right now?" I had a guy ask me
My
if
stomach's a little upset. Can we go now?
No, you never want to talk about diarrhea on a date.
I'm feeling a touch gassy. Can we remove ourselves from here?
No, I wanted to take you somewhere special for dessert.
I had a guy ask me if we could leave and go somewhere else after he looked at the menu because it was too expensive. Like we went in and he and then he took me to McDonald's. I swear to God, took me to McDonald's, and then he ordered a half Coke, half Diet Coke.
Okay,
which was
that-
like the
oh,
deal
so that
breaker.
would be
This
it.
has
Yeah.
been
The
like-
deal breaker.
I broke
Yeah.
up with you 6 times by now.
I know,
It's
right?
The worst.
Exactly.
Court, I feel like I'm curious about you because Court's hot, like super hot,
Very handsome.
right? And all my girlfriends think that. Like one night,
Which girlfriend?
all my girlfriends,
Which ones?
The fat ones.
Drop
Sorry.
Yeah. It's
All
always
of
the
them.
fat ones. Always. You're not fat. You look
Thanks.
fantastic.
Well, I've
I
lost
agree.
a lot of weight, yes. But
you look amazing.
I've
Thanks.
known Joe like 8-9 years
yeah.
now. I've
Our
known-
first show at Stand Up Live with Bobby Lee was with you.
Yeah.
When it first opened.
and we saw each other backstage last night, and I just want to pay you a compliment because you look amazing.
Thank you.
But I was saying to her last night, like, I never thought of you as like fat.
That's so nice.
Like-
I was
I
so
didn't
was.
either. She showed me a photo last night of her heavier, and I was like, I
A
don't
photo
remember
of me
Well, I
and
mean-
Ralphie May, and I was almost bigger than him.
No,
I
you
swear to
weren't.
God, yes,
no,
I
but
was.
I mean, you definitely weren't as thin as you are now. But you weren't. I never thought of you as like being like someone like you didn't want to leave your fries in the green room.
my God.
You know, because like
Because they were
would
already
like,
all gone.
Because they'd be all gone.
That's me actually. I
Yeah.
do that.
I used to have a roommate years and years ago. I lived in Santa Fe, New Mexico for a year, and I had this roommate that was this costume designer. She was a big woman. I love her to pieces. She's a sweetheart, but she was a big woman. And I would go to the store and I would buy stuff, and she was only in town like a month of the year. But I had to hide the food.
Oh, my God.
Because she would come in town and like she would gnaw a whole bag of Cheetos.
Oh, I'll totally eat a
Like
whole
a
bag of
whole
Cheetos.
bag of Cheetos.
That's my jam right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yes.
and I'd come in and I'd be like, "Hey, cheese fingers," you know, like
talk
what,
about
like
it,
what the
yellow-handed.
fuck? Like, how do you like? I just bought these Cheetos,
Oh
man.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a binger. Like I'm a healthy eater and I don't eat a lot, but when I do, I totally binge out.
Yeah.
I do. I'll eat a whole plate of chicken. Last night I ate a whole plate of chicken nachos and a cheeseburger.
No, you didn't.
And
No, you
fries.
didn't.
They
Paul
are so
Verzi,
good
You're
Paul
right.
Paul Verzi stood over those. Paul Verzi's standing there last night. In case you don't know Verzi, he's the fucking best, man. Verzi.
He really is.
Yeah,
And
he's
Verzi,
great.
and Verzi was like, and she got this huge, like it's a pizza box full of nachos, and she's standing there. She's kind of just nibbling at these nachos, And Paul goes, I'm just kind of in here eating. I go, no, dude, you're not lightly eating. You're digging in, motherfucker.
He was like, you know,
Because
when
he was
someone
like
goes-
standing over him, and it's like, you know, when someone takes another bite before they finish chewing that bite. That's not grazing. That's fucking eating,
The
man.
best part was he was like, I'm just gonna have one or two of these, and he kept repeating that he was just gonna have one or two.
And he was like standing, and he was like not moving away, and it wasn't like he was never like licking his fingers because he was going back in, man.
Because Stand Up Live does not play around with the food, and
No,
their
the food's
nachos
amazing.
there are one of
They're
their
sick.
best things. I
God.
think they're
Yeah.
huge and they're really good, and so I do not fault Verzi for that. That is something
no, I
you
don't
cannot
fault
control.
him, but I only faulted him for saying that he was just having a bite.
Right, he
you
was
can't
trying
help
to-
I go,
yourself.
you're just having one. No,
an
you're not,
addiction.
motherfucker.
The
You're in
best
there
part
digging
of it
in.
is none of the comics must realize that the badge for the festival gets them free food over there. Because when they handed me this badge, they said, this is good for food and drinks at Copper Blues. So I got the nachos for free. And then all the comics that came up and started eating them were like, I should give you money
We're
for
just
these.
you should. You should.
And I was like, you really should. I'll take $10. So I made $100 for the
Just ordered 9 more.
because we
nachos.
are conditioned to go for the free food because we usually get paid terrible, but luckily the clubs in Arizona treat you really well.
Yeah, people don't understand that. I think the reason so many comics are such heavy drinkers is just because we're so used to being so broke that when the alcohol is free,
Yep.
we feel like we have to take it no matter what.
Okay, let's get back to your friends that want to sleep.
Back
with
to
you.
your yeah. No, but this is my question because so like you are hot, you're single, do you want? Because I feel like hot guys in LA, especially when they get to your age where they're still single, they
no
look
kids,
good.
right? No
No
kids.
kids. No
Yeah.
kids.
My God, you're like dream man.
That's what I'm saying. At this point, are you like, I'm never committing because I can play the field forever here?
No, I want to get married.
Oh
What?
my God!
I
Let's
wanna
set up a
get
wedding
married.
with you guys.
I'll marry you.
Yeah,
I'm a licensed minister. I will marry the two of you right,
I
now.
now.
honestly, I want to get married.
Here, propose.
Yeah.
I handed him a
Here,
ring.
propose. That is the best thing I've ever seen.
Also, I gave him like a $5 ring from like
that you got in
Dave
a
and
candle.
Buster's.
Yeah. I think I dropped this one with the crane once.
This is cute. Cort McCown wants to get married. You are single. You're what, like 44 or something?
53.
Oh wow!
But
oh my
he
God,
looks
even better.
He looks like he's 40 and
Yeah.
he's so hot.
and
you
he's
guys.
healthy. Like he doesn't drink and he meditates. He's like perfect guy.
He's sober. He plays golf. He has a nice house. I did the
oh my
podcast at your house.
God!
I
Brian
know.
wants to
For
marry him
you.
now.
I know. I'm sold.
I should just have you walking in front of me, man. Just
I
like
know,
just
that's
going
what I
in.
Well, it's
Yeah.
not a bad view.
Yeah.
Hire
Wait,
these two for a week.
But here's what I don't get, because you really are a great catch. So if you want a relationship and you can't find someone, then I feel like we're all fucked.
I'm not. I got a man.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's
Fuck
not.
you, Jill.
It's not as easy, and it's like, and it's also, you know, I'm a comic, so I'm not like home all the time.
And
Perfect.
you're
that-
damaged.
Even more perfect.
I'm not damn. I'm actually a really good, like, I'm very easy to hang out with. I just don't like I don't like bars and clubs.
Yeah.
I hate
Amen.
bars and clubs.
Yeah.
I can't stand them.
What do you like to do?
I love to go out to dinner and do stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you want to go out to dinner or you want to go, like, I'll go to the museum, I'll go to movies, I'll go concerts, I'll go do all those things that you want to do. But I will not go to, you know, EP and LP or one of these fucking nightclubs.
What is that? I don't even
That's
know what
not
it
a
is.
nightclub.
It is.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's like a loungy bar, rooftop bar.
That's,
It's a
he ain't
fucking
even going
nightclub.
there.
It is.
It's a nightclub.
Well, I've only been there for
Anywhere
happy
there,
hour.
anywhere there's a line out the door.
Is there a line
and
there?
the fucking Ubers line up
Oh,
out
and they're
there,
checking
block the
IDs to get
street,
in, yeah.
block the street. That's not where I'm
Oh,
going.
I've only been there for like sunset on the rooftop.
Oh,
I've
that
never
sounds
been,
lovely.
It is nice, but maybe it must change over into a nightclub. I've never been.
All I know is that that's just like not my scene. So I
Yeah.
don't like that scene.
So
But
we're taking applications for wives for Cort.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Wait,
ask
hold
him.
on. Before anyone else applies, tell
Yeah.
me more.
Yeah, no, for real.
If you weren't a comic, I mean, that's the thing. It's like I try to stay away from comics, although I'm not very successful at it very often. But
You're not.
To be fair to me, though, like this is the problem. So, like, I recently sort of dated a comic, kind of. But the problem is,
Which
like,
comic?
I'm not telling. I will never tell in a million
I'll never
years.
tell
I will
either.
just
never
text
tell.
me.
Well, this is the thing, though. I didn't even know he was really a comic, because, like, I
Oh,
know-
then he's a shitty comic. If you didn't know he's a comic.
Right.
He's actually pretty successful.
Listen,
really?
Jill knows.
it doesn't matter. The point is,
We know
Jill
everything.
doesn't know shit. Listen, here's the point. Jill, you don't
Jill,
know
who
shit.
was it?
It doesn't
She'll
matter.
just lean back and mouth it to her.
The point is, I went out with him for like 30 seconds, and then I remembered why I made this no comics rule. Because even
tough.
if it's going well, here's what happens as a girl, and every girl listening will understand this. Like, let's say I want to go to the Comedy Store one night just to see a couple friends, and I'm not going up, but he's going up. Now, if I show up, it looks like I'm coming there because he's there, not just because I'm a comic hanging out. So I start to psychoanalyze everywhere I would go.
Oh.
If he
How
might
old
be
is
there.
this guy?
You got to stop that
Too old
to not be
to-
famous.
No, he's
Easy,
He's in his
easy.
40s. He's too old to be like where he is in terms of how he thinks of relationships. Because that's what I was getting at with you. Most guys that I meet in LA do not want girlfriends. They just don't. They might date you, but they don't want a relationship. So you're so rare.
He
But
is
the
looking for one, but
Yeah.
I would ask you, like, did you say now later in life you know more what you want and what you're looking for in a
Absolutely.
woman,
I think
right?
the
And, like,
difference
what's gonna work?
is when you, like, the first thing that you have to overcome as a guy, if you ever want to be successful dating anybody, is jealousy.
Yeah.
Like, that's the biggest thing
As
you
a
have
girl,
to
too.
overcome. Because
All
the
of
minute, because once, like, I don't get jealous anymore.
You don't at
It
all?
doesn't. I never get jealous. It's like if you want to
Wow.
do, if you
You
want,
really
if
are
that's
perfect.
the, if
I want
that's
some
the,
of that.
I know.
if that's where you want to go, or if you want to do that, fine. But it's like, it's like also I draw a line. It's like if that's your behavior, that's not acceptable behavior to
Right.
me.
Yeah, I don't like when girls try to make guys jealous.
Yeah, it's
I
rude.
hate when people.
Games to me is get the fuck out of my
The
life.
older you get,
you.
the less games.
Why would you
Me
want to hurt
too.
somebody you're supposed to care about and
Well,
make
it's not,
them feel bad?
It's not even hurting. It's like here's a great example. Like I hate texting. Like because I'm just of the I
Do you
don't-
call?
Yeah.
I
So I
prefer
don't
the
I don't
call.
mind texting. I don't mind if you text someone. I don't mind.
Sorry, I just came. Keep talking.
But I don't mind texting. Obviously, if there's like, if you just want to say, hey, okay, so see you at, blah, 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 we're
Right.
doing this. But if we're going to like, if I text you and you don't text me back for 2 hours, and it's like, and you're just kind of waiting because you just don't want to text because you want to wait
You
to
could
see.
have, but
I
you're
hate
purposely
you.
It's like,
holding back.
That's
it's
so
like, you know what?
fucked up.
It's like, then they text me back, and it's like, and I just delete it and just go, you know what? Fuck off. That we're done.
You know what's better? This is what my kids do. You have an iPhone?
I do.
You leave people on read receipts so that they see that you read it and they know you read it, but you just don't
Yeah.
write back. That's what my
Yeah.
kids do. It's like a little
That's why I don't
Yeah.
have an iPhone, by the way. Just because
Really?
I know I would kill myself.
and they would see the bubble when you're like trying to think and like deleting it out. It's like, oh wow, that's actually interesting.
That's why I don't have an iPhone, because I don't want to know who's leaving me on red, because I'm crazy and I get like obsessive.
But but I have an iPhone, and I just have mine where you can't tell if I've read
Yeah,
anything or not.
mine's like that too.
Yeah.
Because it's just I have people in my
But what
life
if-
that it's like, nah, especially my mom. And it's because my mom texts now, and it's like I love my mom to pieces, but it's like she texts me stuff, and it's like, no, I'm not. I'm going to pretend like I'm on the golf course.
It's nice to just
I'll wait
it's nice
5
to
hours.
just be able to be like, oh shoot, I just got this or whatever. And sometimes you just need
Yeah.
that little
Just
white
saw
lie.
your text.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh my god, my phone was dead
And
or
it's
whatever.
like, and I was like, oh fuck, why did I fucking answer? that?
Yeah, I just like when my thing with the texting is that I feel it causes so many problems that could be alleviated in like a 2-minute phone
Right.
call. Because if you're going back and forth trying to even like making plans, it's so much easier to just talk on the phone.
Well, not
I
only
hate
that-
people who won't talk on the phone.
Well, not only that, it's like the worst thing about texting is you can never tell the tone of a conversation. So I'm a
Yes.
very sarcastic, cynical, I have a cynical and sarcastic, tone to what, and it's like, and I hate to have to type ha ha
Right.
after
LOL,
because I say
smiley.
something like anal, and then not.
That's never a joke though, right?
Yeah,
Isn't that
no, it's
always
never
serious?
a joke,
Right.
but it's like, but then I hate to have to type ha ha just to see their response.
Also, girls get so hyper analytical. Like, I dated a guy who would send so many emojis. Like, he would always emoji all his texts. And so then when he wouldn't send an emoji, I would always think something was wrong
Right,
or
or
he
is
was
he not
ma-
flirting?
Right. And then I'm like starting to get to a point where there was one point where it's like he really pulled back on the emojis. And then I started to get
Take
like,
it personal.
does he not like me anymore? Yeah.
You don't send me emojis anymore.
How sad is it? I'm in my 30s and I'm like, he stopped sending emojis. Like, this is the point that society has come to.
That's really funny.
All right. So, wait, have you ever been married?
No.
Have you been married, Brian?
No, I have not.
And also doesn't have kids and also would love to be a dad? I mean, you would be a great dad,
Yeah,
Brian.
You want to
Yeah.
be a dad?
Yeah, inevitably. Sure.
If I
Not
ever
today,
get pregnant, if I ever get pregnant, I'll sell you the baby.
All right. Yeah,
You
I
can
heard
have
you
mine.
was trying to
Why
sell
don't
him
you just
last
share
night.
it? Why do you have to sell it?
I never said that before on stage. You
Oh,
know,
you did?
sometimes shit
Why
just
would you
comes out.
have it? Why don't you just kill it?
Well, you know what? Right now, we're still allowed to. I might get pregnant just so I can have an abortion because it's legal right now. I'm just saying. Just kidding. I'm probably too old for that.
That's gonna go over well. That's gonna go over as well as my David Blaine rape joke on Twitter. Whenever
God, I know people went crazy on you. It's jokes, people. Relax. I'm
there
way
was
too
a
old to get
comedian.
pregnant.
There was a comedian. This is actually. Did you hear about? Did I tell you about this?
A little bit. You
There's
started to last night. Then
there's
you
a
got it.
yeah.
You got into your nachos.
Oh yeah.
You got into Paul Verzi's nachos.
Yeah, I stole Paul's nachos. There was a comedian that got so pissed at me about this David Blaine joke, which, by the way, I don't think that you should rape people. And he's a magician.
Right.
Well,
he probably at least
he's not-
hypnotized her into fucking him.
He's not a magician, but let's be honest.
He's
I
an
mean,
illusionist.
He's an illusionist.
He's actually
they're
magic.
They're all bullshitters.
Wait, do you
is
think
what
that there's
they are.
real magicians that
No.
can do actual magic?
No, the only time I've ever seen anything, that I consider to be real magic is if you've ever
when a
been-
girl squirts.
No, I can make that happen.
And we're
That-
going to cut to commercial right now.
Sexual magician.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, and this is okay, but no, but what it is I've been to the Magic Castle in Los Angeles, and the Magic Castles, if you ever get a chance to go.
You got to get invited, right?
Yeah, you have.
I've
But
been
there's somebody who's a member, but it's not that difficult. It's easy to get into. But you just know someone, and they'll take you. But they have this thing that's called close-up magic, and you go down in this room, and there's these little bitty tiny tables, and you sit down with guys that do these it's called close-up magic because you're sitting right there with them.
Right.
And they do these card tricks and they do these things. Now, to me, that is the most ultimate thing because he had this guy did this one thing where he basically would have someone pick a card. And then he went through this whole thing. And I know there's and the person signed the card, with a Sharpie, and they did this thing on it, so they made it weird. So it was a weird signature. It's not something.
I love that.
There's
Right.
no way that he could have. There's no way he
could
could
have
have
duplicated
Yeah, like he
duplicated
drew
this.
something.
Right.
Yeah,
He did this. Now, however he did that, I don't know. But eventually, he ended up having an envelope that was folded up.
Right.
That he pulled out.
He
that
keistered it.
However it happened, and it was just this most elaborate thing.
I love
To
it.
me, that was magic.
That's awesome.
And then we went to the
Wow.
big room, and this guy did this magic with birds. But at one point, I saw his coat open, and I saw all the birds tucked in his coat. And I'm like, bullshit,
Bird in the pocket.
bullshit.
Yelling it
not
out.
You're
real
so
magic.
fucking full of shit. I can
Busted.
tell you got the birds because they train birds. These guys, that do bird. When you see these birds,
They're not really magicians, they're bird trainers.
But what they do is these guys all have birds, and magicians that use birds. They've trained these birds. They're trained, and they sit inside pockets of their coats and they sleep. And they've trained these birds to do this, so they will literally lay in a person's coat and sleep until they pull them out and they place them in something, and then they will fly.
That's the weirdest thing ever.
But it is. But I asked because I talked to a guy and he goes, "Oh, that's all. Those are trained birds." So they train these birds. So that kind of shit to me and the illusion stuff. I knew a girl in Vegas who used to work in my show at the Palms, who was a magician's assistant, and it's all.
And it's definitely a skill. We're not saying it's not. Right,
It's
sure.
you're
It's just,
you're not.
Right.
It's not magic.
Right.
The card stuff, the close-up
That's magic.
card stuff is like it's beyond a skill. It's
our friend
unbelievable.
Bob Komoda does that, and he's
It's
so
it's
good.
the greatest thing to ever see because there's no way to figure it out.
Yeah.
love
When
it.
it's so good that it makes you mad.
Yeah.
To the
Like,
point
how
where-
do
Yeah,
they
you're
do
like,
that?
how in
No,
the fuck?
it
That's
didn't-
Yeah.
impossible. Like I remember I used to I used to go to Penn and Teller's show a lot, and in Vegas because
Yeah.
Penn Jillette used to come to our shows, and I knew his wife really well, and so we used to go to the shows all the time. And I've had a friend in town. I go, let's just go to Penn and Teller, and he'd get us great seats, and we'd go in. And they used to do this thing where they would pass around an envelope during the show, and everybody in the audience would sign or do something. And at the end of the show, they would do this big, and it was just like, how in the fuck
I love that.
do you do
I do
this?
too.
How do
Magic.
you do
I
this?
love magic. even though
That
it's not
that to
real.
me was like, that's magic.
I love it. I love that.
But because it's intricate,
Yeah.
the how it's done. It's such a, and I'm sure at some level it's the simplest thing that you just can't, you don't know, but at the same time it's like that's the coolest thing I've
So
ever
how
seen.
did you
Yeah.
said David Blaine raped you? What happened? I'm just kidding.
No, David Blaine did not rape me, just for the record.
Kate,
not that I recall.
You should learn magic, I think, is what Cort's saying.
I think Court's
Oh my God,
saying
you would be like this magician, like cool chick magician.
Court would marry me if I knew magic.
Oh my God,
If I
let's
knew how
make
to
that
do
happen.
magic.
Let's go train some birds.
I mean,
Is there a bird
Don't
shop
show
in
'em.
Phoenix that we can get
yeah,
into?
let's get into it.
Dude, that would be amazing. All right.
Your
wha-
tweet though, what was it? Because people got mad at you.
Well,
for
yeah,
it.
I think I talked about it a little on here. I just said, so David Blaine, this girl said David Blaine raped her, and but then, she said that, and by the way, he might have, because
Right, we
you
don't know. We weren't
I
there.
wasn't there.
Right.
But she said she felt very stoned and very relaxed and woke up naked. And I said, that sounds like a magical evening. That was
Oh.
because she said she was
Yeah.
stoned, relaxed, and naked. But
Did
some,
you hashtag it me too?
no, I did not.
Should
but,
have hashtagged it me too.
Hashtag me too with a question mark.
Because
Like,
once
yeah,
you
sounds
hashtag
like
once
fun.
you hashtag
Yeah.
me too, everything's okay.
I
You
know. I
Oh
mean,
my
that's kind of, it's
God.
unfortunate that we've come to that point where you can't even make it. I mean, I know some jokes are in bad taste, but
Yeah.
I did read that joke when you made it, and I thought it was funny. And
a lot of guys liked it, and then a lot of girls liked it, but then this one comic got so mad at me.
Really?
She got so mad at me.
oh, it was a girl.
Yeah, it was a female
Of course it
comic that got
was.
mad at me, and she started tweeting
What female
at
comic?
me.
Just
I have
mouth
a
it
feeling
to
I
me.
know who. Actually,
I'm not gonna say, but here's the thing, that she got mad at me, and then the next night I was doing a show, and she was there, not on this, she was hanging out, and she came up to me and started being like so nice to me, like, you look amazing, what have you been doing to work out, and what's going on? And I was like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say in those instances. when s-
BB.
Do you call them out, and do you just go like, weird? Because last night on Twitter you raked me over the coals.
No, I was like, I don't know why I look so good lately. I've been watching a lot of David Blaine specials and just
I feel
hanging
very
out.
relaxed.
Now,
It was
why
magical.
why didn't you call her out? Because that's a situation where
awkward.
I would literally have to say to someone, like, I have this kind of creed in my life where it's like I don't want to be in uncomfortable situations.
Yeah.
So I will go up to someone in that situation. If I would have been in that situation, I would have gone up and say, hey, listen, I'm sorry if I did something to offend you, but I feel really kind of weird that you tweeted that back. If you have a problem,
Message me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just tell me what the deal is, because I want to clear the air.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you do that in your life, like, you'll never have an uncomfortable situation.
All of
You'll never
America
be in-
is falling in love with Cort McCown today. I
No,
will
no,
have you
but I
know.
just find
I think Court should be the next bachelor.
For real.
Wouldn't he be a perfect bachelor?
He so would. We would like transcendental meditation together and all of that.
I don't have
Court-
enough. I don't have enough money to be the bachelor.
Sure you do.
I don't have enough money. To
You
be
have
the
more than most of the out-of-work actors they
Yeah,
use
none of the
on that
bachelorettes have money. Like, who cares?
Neither did the bachelor. I knew one of the bachelors. He was a piece of shit, and he had no money, and he was dating
Just
like
one?
3 girls when he went on to be the
Can I
bachelor.
just say this, that show is such a crock of shit.
Right? I totally agree.
Can you
Nowhere in
imagine?
the- nowhere-
I made out with him. It's my date night tonight. What? No.
Nowhere in the world do
Right?
25 smoking hot girls follow one half a fag around for 3 weeks.
I do not condone the use of that word.
And fall in love and get married.
But,
so
right?
ridiculous.
And then they all are like sobbing when they get kicked off. I'm like, you've been there 3 days.
I know.
How are you in love?
It's ridiculous.
Although I maybe they all have. Do you think they all have hook up? Do you think they all have sex?
you would have
I think
to.
a lot of them do.
I think that's why they all cry when they leave.
Yeah, right.
They catch the feelings.
Yeah.
What's going on out there? Do you want kids?
I'm not opposed to it, but I'm also not like, gosh, I need to have kids, because I don't want to be. I'm 53. I don't want to be like 74 with a wheelchair with an oxygen tank rolling a ball back to my kid in the front yard.
All right,
Too
so
high.
Want to play catch, Sonny? Stand downhill, because Grandpa's gonna roll the ball back to you.
we've
I've had those
established
thoughts.
Court is perfect, is what we've established.
for real.
I used to, like, when I was really young, like I was like 23, I lived with a girl who was 25 who had 2 kids. and I loved those kids to pieces. man.
Aw.
You know, now they're 30, and I could probably date her.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, that's a good plan.
You know, but now, it's like,
right in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, but it's like,
Well, that's a good position. You're like, you'd go either way. Like kids, you wouldn't eliminate a woman if she wanted them, and if she didn't, you would still either way. It's not a deal breaker.
I mean, but at the same time, though, I have a hard time believing that bringing up a child in today's society now, I'm not saying if you have a 13-year-old or 14-year-old, but I'm saying, having a newborn kid today in today's world is pretty fucking scary, because it's not like I went to public school. I went to,
Me too.
I went to college, and it wasn't $75,000. You didn't have to sell your house to put a kid through school.
True.
It was a different time, and I'm not like, this isn't like, in the old days. This was not that long ago.
Right.
And now things have gotten to the point where if you have a child now, you better have about $350,000 to get them through high school.
That's so scary.
I have children and like $11 in the bank.
I know, but I mean,
But Jill's
they're
kids eat
good
out of
for it.
trash cans.
My kids are the bomb. That's right. They're like raccoons.
But doesn't it?
that's how they
doesn't it
turn
freak
out.
you out a little bit today to think about, like, if you have a kid that wants to go to college? Like I have my younger brother. I have a nephew. I have two nieces one niece who graduated college. One niece, believe it or not, who also she graduated. No, she's in college. And then I have two nephews, and one of my nephews is like on his senior in high school, and he's applying to colleges now. And it's like, how the fuck you gonna pay for this, dude?
I'm very
Maybe
lucky. I have college funds for my family, for my kids. Otherwise, I'd be like, you better get those grades up, because
get good at
I
sports.
can't
And not get
afford
your
it
grades up. You better
to get scholarships.
You
is what I
better
mean.
be
Oh,
like
yeah.
you better be like Asian
Oh
smart.
no, I know. Well, my kids are
you
my
know.
kids are that smart. They're just, my son, like, if he applied himself 1 ounce, he would be like the guy. But he's like straight A's and like AB.
Like-
and he's always like, nah, I'll do my homework tomorrow. Like, never bothers.
Like when
I mean,
was
I got a scholarship for the first 2 years, and then I paid for the second. I took out loans for the second two,
Yeah.
I think. But it wasn't that bad. I think I owed like 30 grand when I graduated.
But that's okay. But now, for example, you have a kid that you don't want to send to public 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th
Right.
grade. It's $25,000 a year
Oh.
to send a kid
I can't
to
imagine
not even the best one.
But
Those are the shitty ones.
Why do they need to go to private school?
Well,
So they
that's
don't
the
get
thing.
stabbed.
It's interesting.
I want my kids to get stabbed,
It's funny because
man.
in
That's how
LA
you get
get some
hard.
scars.
In LA,
Yeah.
I hear that a lot. A lot of people I know in LA send their kids to private school. They live in great neighborhoods. They're like, yeah, but the schools here are terrible. But in Arizona, like, most people go to public school, like, and
Yeah.
everything's safe.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
depends on the
obviously,
city.
yeah. Well, I live in
I just
Gilbert.
think
It's
that,
very, like,
you know what I think? I think people are just too careful with their kids. That's what
yeah,
I think.
throw
Like,
them right in the fire.
dude, when I was a kid, I would leave the house on my bike. I was like 8. I would leave the house on my bike and come back like 6 hours later with dirt all over me. And my mom would be like, "Where'd you go?" I'd be like, "I was climbing dirt hills all day," and like no one was worried.
That's what I mean. Like, it's not like that.
No,
now.
it's
I mean,
not.
you got
Yeah, I
if you
guess.
got a kid that rides their bike to school, you better have a tracer on him and a drone flying
real.
over him.
I honestly think
some guy
we
doesn't
should-
drive up in a van and
Yeah.
rape him on the corner.
I ride my bike
You
to
know?
the Laugh Factory, and no one has tried to rape me in a van, and I'm a little offended now, now that you said that.
I
right,
think
though.
we should
Where,
put
what route do you
GPS
take?
systems in all kids. I feel like every kid should get a GPS system, and every boy should get a vasectomy. And then when they get married, you get the vasectomy reversed, and then you're at 18, you're allowed to turn off your GPS tracking device if you elect to. That
Let's-
would be great.
let's talk
then
about
your
this.
parents can track you when you're a child, and once you're 18, you can have that turned off. And I wouldn't turn it off.
See,
I want people to know where I am.
Again, see, like that's fucked up. Because
I know
now-
it sucks that you
because-
have to, but wouldn't it be great?
I know,
There's
but it's
some,
like I remember like I grew up in the 70s, and but I mean I grew up when literally your parents, like, you came home from school, and your parents were like, get the fuck out of the house, and you were out of the house,
Yeah.
and you came back whenever dinner was
the
ready.
lights went on.
Whenever my mom made some shitty meal,
Me too.
we'd all have to come back and eat her shitty food. I love my mom, but she could not cook.
Mine too.
And
mine is amazing.
my mom used to make lasagna with cottage cheese. 'cause
No.
She thought it was like
Cardinals.
No.
Oh, the Italians are like horrified.
Exactly. This is the worst food ever.
Cottage cheese is just so gross looking.
I know.
It looks like a
Weird.
pile of white
But she was
barf.
like, it was like ricotta, cottage,
Close
same
enough.
thing. You
Yeah.
know. and I was
She's like, they
"Ugh."
look similar. It's fine.
But I think today, like today, you can't. You have to kids. It's just not. There's too much weird shit out there, and you can't do that. And then if you're tracking your kid, then it's like there's no freedom as a child.
I don't
You
need
can't-
to track my kid to know what he's. I just mean like in case someone steals him, like
Listen,
that.
enough
Yeah.
about kids. Can we talk about vasectomies?
Oh,
because
they're
when
a
you said
beautiful
that,
thing.
because I want guys to start getting more vasectomies. I'm pissed off that guys don't get more. I know guys that never want kids and refuse to get a vasectomy because they're like scared to have their dick invaded or whatever they're afraid of.
It's not,
I don't
it's
get
a little
it.
surgery. It's minor.
I don't think it's a big deal, but it's like I'm not sure where I'm at, so that's why I don't have
No,
advice.
if you don't know, it's okay.
But if
course.
you're like definitely,
If you
I don't
knew.
want kids.
Yeah.
But yeah.
A lot of guys are like, why aren't you on the pill? And I'm like, you never want kids. Why don't you get a vasectomy?
Yeah.
Why do I have to put hormones in my body every day?
Right. Why would you ever risk it if you really didn't want kids? I'd be
Mm.
like going in and getting that taken care of.
Me too, and
I'm
it's
really
reversible.
good at pulling out, so it
Yeah.
doesn't really
Have you
matter
met my
anymore.
daughter
Yeah.
Allison? Just saying.
Yeah.
Why was she a pull-out baby?
She was a surprise.
Oh, I like that you call her that.
I'm
Pull-out
53
baby.
and never gotten a girl pregnant, so
That
I'm
you know of.
probably
Your sperm
shoot-
doesn't work.
probably shooting blank.
I
Maybe.
think that I'm barren also because, like, I mean, I
Well,
was.
I'll tell you what.
forbid.
And when this
I
podcast,
hope so.
when this
I
podcast is
hope
finished,
so.
when this podcast finished, let's go do it.
Yeah.
I will shoot a huge load in you,
My God.
and we'll see if anything happens. Because
Yeah,
I feel
we'll
I feel
see.
fertile today.
Yeah, right? I said to Cort last night, I go, I've never had a guy on the podcast that I've hooked up with before, and I've always wanted to. And he's like, let's fuck right now. Let's tomorrow. That's actually not a bad idea. All right, I got to read this
Love
question.
connection.
So I have this listener who sent me a question. I actually think it's a really funny one. I think this girl's name is Ouija. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. But, okay, here's the question. She goes, this is so funny. I started dating a guy a couple weeks ago, and he just adopted a cat. I'm super allergic to the cat. Even taking medicine doesn't work. Every time we hang out at his place, I feel bad. I don't want to tell him to give away his cat, but I really like him and don't know what to do. And I'm like, oh, this is an interesting one because
Well,
I've
first of all, you're dating a dude with a cat. so already you're fucking one strike against
There
you.
you go.
I know it's hilarious. I was
And he
telling
adopted a cat? Oh.
Cort, that's the best way. If you're gonna get a pet, you have to adopt it.
I
Yes.
know, but still.
But
it's
not a cat. Just kidding.
Go
You can
adopt.
find them.
cats.
You can like find one in a dumpster. Like
Because
you don't
that's
have to
like when you
adopt.
get a
So
cat that's
sad.
like, I want a pet that loves that I can love, that won't love me back, that shits in my house, that makes my house smell like shit. It's just there's so many wrong things with a cat.
I'm not a
I
cat.
hate cats.
I'm not
I
a
hate
cat
cats.
person
I hate
either.
cats.
I'm not a
I'm
cat
not a cat person, but I don't loathe them like
Listen,
Cort does.
I'm
loathe
not. I'm
cats.
so not a cat person to the point of there's this. I talked about this guy on my podcast. There's this rock star that I'm like the hugest fan of, like crazy
It's
huge
Weird
fan.
Al. It's Weird Al.
It's Weird Al. So I always wanted to fuck Weird Al. So one day this guy DMs me, and I like out of the blue he DMs me, and I almost drove my car off the road because I was like so excited. So then I was like telling all my friends, like, I got to go out with this guy. Like I've literally fantasized about the guy.
So
right?
crazy.
Yeah, and then I started following him on Instagram, and he posts a lot of photos in bed with his cat. And that to me is such a deal breaker. I literally can't
It's
go out.
the
I mean,
in bed
I
with the
can't go
cat
out
part.
with him
Yeah,
now.
it's weird.
not that he has a cat, but he sleeps with the cat.
What
Cats
about it
cats
bothers
have
you?
claws.
They
And
do.
it's
What
like,
if-
and
ooh,
it's like you
specific.
have
What if it
that
was a
like
dog?
late night hard on, and your cat like thinks it's a post.
That's a
and it's like, you know.
How
a
big is your
safety
hard
hazard.
on? My God, he really is
I
perfect.
know. Holy shit. He's like, my dick is the size of a cat house. It's crazy. No, it's not. It's not because he loves the cat. It's like, first of all, cats shed.
You don't like the
They make
sanitary part.
They make
of
your
it.
throat scratchy and they rub on you, and
Yeah.
and I don't want any animal in bed with me and a guy. If
That's
I'm in
not
be-
your own animal. If it was your animal, it'd be one thing. But it's weird to like, you feel like you're intruding on their relationship with
Yeah.
the
I
guy
wanted
and the
to- I
animal.
feel- I
I just
wanna
don't want
defend
any
the
animal
cat.
that shits in my house.
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
it's
that's a
like-
good point.
Yeah.
I don't want that
It's
either.
like, no way.
No hamsters, no birds.
Have
I
you
don't
ever
even
been
want
at
a
someone's
guy I'm
house?
dating to
Have you-
shit in my house.
have you ever been-
Like,
Yes.
get the
Yeah.
fuck. Go
Yes.
shit at McDonald's.
Go to Burger King. Exactly.
Have you ever been at someone's house and like you go and they have a cat and you go in the bathroom and they have the kitty litter box in there and
Disgusting.
you're like, wait a second, somebody already shit in here and didn't flush it, so why am I in here? You know,
So then you just shit in the litter box, like
Yeah.
to amuse yourself.
It's
Dude,
so gross.
that is the greatest story ever. Was George Clooney's story about like they had some guy they used to play pranks. This is my favorite George Clooney story ever. And so he had this guy who had a cat, and it was their roommate. And so what they did was he was like obsessed with his cat. So what they did was every time the cat would shit, they would take it out of the litter box. And the guy kept thinking that his cat was having problems taking a shit.
Oh, no.
And then they went and one day they just went and shit in the litter box,
Oh, yeah.
like a huge human shit. And the guy thought like his cat had like
been
shit
backed up.
had been backed up and shit like this huge human shit.
Oh my
and
God.
the guy like freaked out because he thought his cat
Did they
like
not
a
notice
mountain
when there was
lion.
like corn and gum in it that it was like
no,
actually
but the
human?
guy like was like, oh my God, my cat finally went to the bathroom. And
What
it's
a
like,
fucking idiot.
Yeah.
So
How
just
could you
only
believe
guys
that?
think of stuff like that.
that is the
I know,
greatest.
Girls would
prank
never be
ever.
like, you know what I'm gonna do? Okay, I'm gonna go over to Becky's house and I'm going to collect all her cat shit, and then I am gonna eat Taco Bell, and then I am gonna shit in her cat box. It'll be so funny.
Yeah, that's the best. It would be the best. It would be the
So
absolute
funny.
best. And the look on your friend's face when you did that would
Yeah.
be
It's actually a
absolutely
great
priceless.
idea. It's a great
So
idea.
gross.
Speaking of shit, I posted on Craigslist that I was okay. I just did this to be funny. I posted on Craigslist that I was going to sell my used panties for $50. I didn't say who I was. I just wrote used panties $50, and then under description I wrote pooped in only.
Oh my gosh.
And I got like 17 messages from
Just
guys.
go to Ross and get a bunch of underwear and poop in them and
Yeah.
sell them. If that is what they're into,
I
why
know.
wouldn't you capitalize on
I
that?
See,
thought about it.
why can only girls do this? Because if this would happen,
You'd be
dudes would all have college
You
money.
could do it. It would
So
be
we
like
would
an Orange is the New
I would
Black.
literally
Yeah.
shit in everything.
Well, this is the thing. I posted it on there. I didn't even put a photo or anything. So they're
get
just
merch.
going on. All they know is panties with shit in them. They don't even know what I look
Oh,
like.
I'd
They
post
don't know
photos.
nothing.
I'd have
I'm
some
gonna post
camo
photos of
underwear
Kate.
with just big shit
I'm gonna
stains
post
in 'em.
pictures of you.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Then I started thinking any dude could do that because I'm not going to shit in underwear.
Why not?
Hey, you can have the ones I have on
For
now.
$50 a pair? For real.
How about I called Sam Tripoli. I was like, if I sent you a couple pairs of G-strings, would you shit in them for me and send them back?
What he said?
He was like, what the fuck is wrong with
He
you?
said no.
And then I explained why.
Really, why wouldn't you just do it yourself? Like, honestly. If you're already
I
at
can't
that
plan
level.
I can't plan a shit out like that. I
Oh.
can't.
Well, you don't have to plan it out, but like just keep some underwear next to the bathroom, and then when you have to go, you know.
It is.
Hey,
just wipe your butt with them like.
Just
hey,
like a
I'll tell
little
you what.
dental
No,
floss.
here's what you do. Just don't wipe and go play a round of tennis, and then just sell them.
Oh.
Sorry,
I
that
feel
got
sick
gross.
inside. But,
By the way,
true, though.
I hope
It's
that
so gross.
girl's cat's okay.
Also, if you'd like to buy my shitty underwear, go to my Patreon. I'll be selling them there. All right, we're almost out of time, but before we go, I always like to ask everyone, because the show's called Date Fails, if you have like a horrible date story, like worst sex, worst date, something terrible that's happened.
Well, the guy I dated last year for like 2 months, whatever, had the best night of our lives. VIP tickets to a hockey game, went and sang live band karaoke, got wasted, went out to this great diner afterwards, was like eating, drinking, having fun, laughing. Literally like the best night we had had in the 2 months. And at the end of the night, he looked right in my eyes and said, "This isn't going to work out," and broke up with me at the
What?
diner in public while I was wasted. And I was like, wait, what? Like crying, like, what? And that's how he broke up with me. That's the fool who told me to take his
Fuck
pictures
that
down.
guy.
Fuck you, dude.
Let's go light his car on
Oh,
fire.
I just so don't
He
care.
lives
now
here,
now that I
right?
actually have a real man,
All right,
I
but
figure he's a loser.
I love getting revenge.
I
Let's
know.
go shit in his litter box.
He lives down the block.
I'm down for that. What
That's
about
good.
you? I actually had a guy dump me right after sex while we were still in bed.
Oh, no.
Well, kind of. It's just we had sex and then he rolled over and he goes, "Did you know that right after a guy comes, we have like this moment of clarity where we just realize kind of like how we feel?" And I was like, what? And he's like, I just don't know if I really want to date someone right now.
Oh my God.
Like literally, we're still naked. Like you just came, and then he
Too
was like,
soon.
right?
I
And
haven't
then,
even like gotten my sock back from you.
Just you can have that thought,
And
but share it later.
here's a wet towel. Thanks for coming.
Literally.
and I didn't even come, so that was a really big
Oh,
letdown.
God.
And then he was like, let's go get food, and then we went.
Wow.
Yeah, and then we
No.
went and sat at a diner and just like stared at each
The
other.
diner's the kiss of death for us, apparently.
Awkwardly, yeah, totally. And then I was driving him home, and then we stopped to get gas, and he was like, "I'll just walk from here," and he just left. I swear to God,
Oh
he
my
walked
God.
home.
Unbelievable.
told
Some of you
that
guys'
one.
stories make me feel so much better. I gotta tell you, I don't think I'm.
Good for you.
There's some bad guys out there.
Yeah, there
huh?
are some bad guys. You are not one of those bad guys.
Yeah. What about you guys? Have you had a horrible date? Horrible something?
It was like a long time ago, but I'll never forget. It was like 11 years ago. I haven't been on a date in a long time, but it was at we went to the Laugh Factory, right? I was doing a show for Rusty Dooley, who's another comic who's raising money for his brother. It was a good cause. A lot of good comics were there. Dane Cook came out to help and everything. It was a nice event. So anyway, I did the show, met this girl after the show. She was very forward, right? And just was like about it, right?
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah, yeah,
very
yeah.
refreshing. No games or nothing, right? I had two friends with me. And Jill's knows them. They're not comics. Kevin and Jay were with me. And this girl that like me had one friend. So it's 2 to 3. So I'm like, I made it clear with them, like, look, she
Fight
likes
over
me, I
her.
like her, you guys have good luck, to the death, or whatever you guys are going to do. Right? Two dorks, but whatever. As far as that goes, I love them. But so then we go back to this girl's house, and then, we're hanging out, and I'm with the one girl, and then Kevin goes in the room with that girl, and then Jay's sitting on the couch, like, staring at me. I'm like, well, what are you doing? Take a walk. Like,
Right.
beat it. He's like, I don't know where to go. I'm like,
Anywhere else.
He totally cockblocked you.
oh, he was being a total jerk. I had to. It was. I
You
had
think
to
he was
embarrass him.
hoping if he hung out long enough, maybe like you guys
Sore
would
loser.
double
Just-
team?
He's like that
I
anyway,
don't know
though.
what he was trying. I don't know. He wasn't giving up on the other situation, I think, and he was just pouting. And I'm like,
That's
just
so
beat it.
sexy.
But the craziest part was, so I woke up the next morning and I hooked up with the girl, right? And
Nice
in
work.
the
Nice
morning
work.
she says, but in the morning she says, she drops this bomb. She goes, I'm getting married in a few days. She goes, I just wanted to get out of my system. I'm like, I totally just got used like
Oh
that.
my
like,
God,
So
that's the
please,
worst.
like
It
that's
kinda-
a bad thing.
No, I
It's like
wasn't
every
mad.
guy's dream.
terrible though.
Yeah, I wasn't mad.
She used me.
whatsoever. There was no. It wasn't. I think that was kind
That's
of
just like, ew.
That was gonna be it anyway. But
Sucks.
that reminded me of like when you were like, I'm gonna just have a one night stand. Your friend was gonna tell you, we're doing it. This is a one night stand tonight.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I'm on
yeah.
a mission. I felt like she was in your. that
Maybe she
mentality, right?
was. I said last night on Felipe's podcast that I only ever have one night stand, and it was like a mission because I'd never had one. My girlfriend was like, "You have to have a one." So I went to Saddle Ranch looking.
Oh my
Where
God.
the fuck was I that night?
This is a long time ago. It was like 5 years ago.
I was only 48 then.
That's a superpower. You can go out and just pick whoever you pretty much
Yeah.
want.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
it's
you can
such
do
a.
it.
I never do it though because it's such a gamble. Because
Sure.
I found that statistically for me, only like 1 in 7 guys is really great in bed. So it's not worth the risk of him being not that good.
Well, for sure. That's
For
not-
sure. And you're just like, how often are you really attracted to somebody?
That's what I mean, that you have that chemistry
Right.
and there's something, I don't know. So I just don't even bother anymore. Or I end up like getting drunk and throwing up on them.
That's nice.
Beautiful.
That's, yeah. Court, you still want to get together?
Yeah. I have
what
a
about
kitty
you?
litter box for you.
To puke in.
What about you? You got one?
I have one of my favorite stories ever was I was doing La Jolla Comedy Store, and I think it was Freddie Lockhart and I were doing the store.
Love Freddie.
And after my set, I walked outside, and this girl and this guy come out, and this girl was kind of drunk, and she came out, and she's like, she was being really flirty. But there was a guy with her, and she's like, she started that whole thing. Oh, my Can't Buy Me Love's my favorite. I've seen it 100 times. And I started this whole thing, and I was like, oh, that's great, blah blah blah. But she was kind of like overly flirty, and I was trying to pay attention to the guy, like, hey, buddy, thanks for,
Smart, right?
Yeah.
And so then I go, I'm gonna go back inside and watch Freddie. You guys should go back in too. He's really funny. You should go back in. So I was like, I walked back in, and then I walked around behind the bar, just kind of to get away from them. And they walked back in the show. And then a couple minutes later, once I saw them in, I walked back outside. I was smoking a cigarette. That's when I still smoked. And I was standing outside smoking a cigarette. And then this girl comes back out, and she literally is like, I just moved into my new apartment. I want you to come see my apartment. And, you know, she was really forward. And I go, what about that dude? She goes, that's not my boyfriend. She goes, we're just friends. We're, you know, da-da-da. And I was like, okay.
Oh, okay.
So I go, if you really want to hook up, like, she goes, yes. And I go, well, my car's behind the Comedy Store. I go, after the show, just meet me by the car, because I don't want to walk. I don't walk out of here with somebody. You know, it's kind of weird. And so I said, meet me back by my car, and, you know, we'll go check out your apartment. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Show me your etchings.
Yeah. So literally, after the show, I walk around to the back, and there she's standing there, and she's kind of drunk. So I was like, you know, I was kind of debating, and then she kind of was sober. You know, she kind of sobered up enough, and I was like, all right, let's fucking go do this. She was hot. So we go back. She gets in the car. We drive to her apartment. And then she starts playing the panties on, panties off. No, yes, no, yes, no, yes.
No.
So I text myself on my phone. She goes to the bathroom. I text myself, I'm dropping the dog off at your house. You can't, you know, you're going to have to come home tonight. And so I was like, oh, listen, I can't stay. I got to drive back to LA. I got to go pick up my dog. My friend's dropping him off at the house right now.
You text it to yourself? Did it come up on your phone as like from me?
Yeah, she didn't know.
Oh,
I just showed her the text. And so she's like,
That's
so
a
I
move.
was like,
Showed her the text. Like,
yeah,
you're
I
committed.
go, I got to go back. I got to go
That's
back.
how I would know you're lying.
Yeah.
Guys never show you their phone unless
Yeah.
they're lying.
Yeah.
That's it.
So she's like, okay. And then it was like, then panties off, fucking, you know, it was like game on. And then so I took off, and right after I was like, this chick's fucking batshit crazy.
Clearly.
I took off, and I'm driving back, and Freddie calls me. Freddie's like, dude, you'll never guess what happened. I was like, what? She goes, that was that chick's boyfriend. She left him there, and she had the keys. She drove him there. She had the keys to the car.
Oh, my God.
So this guy was like standing out front, like knocking on the door, like, because he had no way home. So he was like, she left him all night in the parking lot.
Oh my
God.
God.
What the horrible part is that her boyfriend didn't know about Uber. Like, what the hell?
No, this was before Uber. This was before Uber. I think he finally had to call, I think like 2 hours later.
So
He
sad.
didn't know what happened. He's probably worried about her,
I
too.
wonder how often she does this to him, if this
Oh,
is like
what
a
a
common
horrible-
occurrence.
She
But
ruined two
I
dudes' nights.
literally had the funniest
crazy.
fucking ride home. And you know, and got home and showered, you know, because
Clearly, in bleach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy
That's cool that you were
shit.
feeling bad for him. Like, you were at least considerate of him. Like, yo, is that your man? Like,
Yeah.
you with him? Like,
Oh, no,
you
no,
know?
I didn't care about him.
No, but
I
at the
didn't-
beginning of the night
In
you
the
did.
beginning.
No, at the beginning of
right.
the night, yeah.
Once she- until
But
she made
once,
it
you know.
clear.
What's crazy is Felipe told a story like this last night about how an audience member
Maybe
took
the same
him
girl,
home.
yeah.
It's probably the same one, yeah. And then George Perez told a story about how an audience member took him home, and then her boyfriend showed up. I feel like these girls are just like, they must get to some point where they're like, I don't even care if my boyfriend shows
Oh, no,
up. Like,
we call them chuckle fuckers.
Chuckle fuckers,
Chuckle
that's right.
fuckers. Yeah, we like chuckle fuckers.
this is
I
why
don't
you
get
should
any of
never date a
those.
comic.
I'm saying.
It's so easy for them.
It-
I was on the road with Jim Florentine, and some chick walks up to him after the show and was just like, take a walk with me. And I was like, she's going to blow you in the parking lot. And he was like, you
I
think
know.
so? I'm like, it's obvious.
That's the only chance some of us have. You know what I mean? You have to do well, and then you have a window of time that you might have a chance. I'm usually a 6. Right now, I'm an 8 for like the next 3 hours.
It's so easy.
It's like me
It
and
goes
Laughlin.
back.
It's like
You're
my
not going to
chances
talk
go
about
through
this
the
on
roof.
stage,
You're
are
11
you?
in law. Jill's an
Just on a
11.
podcast.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm naming names, bitch.
I know everybody on my Instagram is like, how are you single? I'm like, have you ever listened to my
Yeah.
podcast? I'll be single forever.
I always said I would never want to date a guy who like saw me on stage as their first meeting with me. I'm like, I would not want to go out with you if you liked me after what you saw on stage.
That's how I feel.
That's how
I
you
question
wean 'em
your
out.
judgment
Yes,
if you're
totally.
okay
Wait a
with
second.
this.
Yeah.
You like, wait a second. You
Didn't I
laughed at
just
that?
talk about shoving a hemorrhoid back up my ass while we're doing it doggy style? You're
that
really
was-
sure you're on board for this?
So attractive.
I know.
Wow.
Did you really do that?
Wow, that
Like 4 days ago.
I just kind of
I
threw
think-
up in my own mouth just a
Yeah,
little
I
right
think
there.
Jill wins
Yeah.
for the biggest date fail, and she doesn't
Thank
even
you.
consider it
And
a fail.
I'm the only one who has a boyfriend, so what does that tell you?
I know. What the fuck?
Sorry.
All right. All right. Listen, you guys were awesome. Thank you
Thanks
guys
for having
so
us.
much
Thanks for
for
having us.
this was an absolute blast. One
Yeah,
more
it was.
time, tell them where they can find you.
It's me, Jill Kimmel, at Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah, and the Kevin Hart show.
The Kevin Hart show next Friday night. Me and Brian both will be
watch
on.
that next Friday.
Friday night, Comedy Central, 11 p.m.
Cool.
Boom. What about you, Cort?
You can go. All my stuff's at Cort McCown, CortMcCown, and you can catch me on next season's Arrested Development.
That's
nice.
right.
Oh,
Yes,
shit.
what's
And
up?
he'll be the next Bachelor, ladies. So
Yeah.
get ready. What about you?
We had a lot of good inventions on this show, by the way. We got a new horn for the car.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We had a whole bunch of, there was a couple others we got to read.
Brian
I'm
and
shitting
me.
in my pants
Yeah, we
and
got
selling them on Craigslist right away.
Shitted pants, yep.
Hey, shit with
Jill's
a hemorrhoid.
shitting right now.
Yeah.
I can smell it.
That's not true.
Brian, what about your social media?
It's Ricci, Ricci, it's Italiano, _ Brian with a Y, because my parents had to be difficult.
Oh.
And, that's it.
All right, boom.
Thank
I
you.
love it. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Make sure you stop by if you happen to be in Phoenix. Stop by the All Things Comedy Fest. It goes on till Sunday?
Sunday
It
night
ends
through Sunday night. There's shows Sunday night also.
through
Yeah.
Sunday
Nice.
night.
And the shows are freaking
Amazing.
stacked.
They
man.
really are so
And
good.
it's stand up
Yeah.
live and Tempe Improv, and then there are assorted other venues around that these clubs
Yeah.
have gotten
for
for
the big
too.
for the big wigs.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's really fun.
We're in the
We're
pop-up studio.
it's
having a
fun.
good time. Everything is fine. We're going, but we're gonna go pool. We're gonna go pool party now.
Oh, you're gonna go pool party.
You're
I'm gonna
not
go lay
coming?
my fat ass in bed.
All right, go shove hemorrhoids up
Yeah,
your butt in
I
bed,
will.
and
I
we'll be
will.
partying at the pool. Guys, I love you. Please check out my Patreon, patreon.com/KateQFunny. I'm sending out photos to you guys that sign up this month. So
Oh my God, I've
sign
seen the
up.
pictures. They're nice.
Oh God, stop! That one
Yeah,
was
will
just
you
for you. That was
just send me
for
a
you.
few photos. I'm in a hotel room with lots of hand towels.
Enough, Court. All right. Love you guys. See you soon. Bye.